For more than 100 years, the International City-County Management Association has been dedicated to creating and sustaining thriving communities throughout the world. By bringing together the nation's best city and county leaders, ICMA is improving the essential functions for professional local government management executives, and we are here to highlight it all. This is ICMA TV. Hello and welcome to our fourth and final day of the 2021 ICMA Annual Conference. As we round out our final day here in Portland, we'll be bringing you sit-down interviews with today's keynote speaker.
After years of sort of one-size-fits-all suburban development, people really want urban amenities in their town.
Continue our tour across the country highlighting how your city managers are improving lives in their communities.
We're thinking every day about how we deliver resources to make sure that they're getting all the services that they need in order to come out of the disaster much stronger than they were before.
And we even hear from the committee already gearing up for our 2022 annual gathering.
This is an amazing opportunity for Columbus and Franklin County and for all of the Ohio folks to host. We're so excited.
Remember, you can see all of the latest ICMA TV news, videos, and interviews on your time by checking out our dedicated page on the ICMA website and on our YouTube channel and Twitter feed. A key focus during this year's conference has been equity and inclusion, a topic many of our cities have grappled with how to address over the last 2 years. We sat down with the Equity and Inclusion Cohort to discuss the best path forward.
You know, there's just been a lot more focus on equity in society in general over the last year or so. And in specific, ICMA was really interested in this new equity officer profession that's developing around the country and trying to support that.
I think that what's happening right now is that organizations are trying to both develop best practices as well as learn from our neighbors across the country, so we're not reinventing the wheel.
The cohort is a lot about information sharing, and so it's trying to take the best practices from each individual organization throughout the country and just, share that information so people in different parts of the country can see what their peers are doing around that very question.
I think in the United States right now, the conversation is so polarized that we want to set up those conversations in a way that it brings everyone in a way that they can feel like they can make change.
It's hard when you're steering a giant ship to just turn everything around. It takes time. Racism wasn't created overnight. And so it's going to take a really long time to dismantle things.
So you're not doing it because people want it, you're not doing it because people are happy, you're doing it because it's a necessity in order for all of us to be better.
The cohort itself has been just a godsend to have a crew of people who check up on each other and appreciate each other, and there's true friendships and love that's built. And so for me, it's just been such a gift.
I'm learning a lot from everybody, but the camaraderie of being able to have a safe place to say, man, this is hard, and then to be able to say why it's hard and not fear retribution, it's been great for me.
We have focused on the need to restart all week long, and New Orleans, Louisiana is certainly no stranger to that idea. That city is battle-tested each year as deadly hurricanes slam the Gulf Coast. So it is these local leaders that we should turn to for innovative and adaptive strategy in times of uncertainty.
New Orleans is so uniquely set. It is dynamic, it's event upon event upon event, and if we're really thinking through the predictability is the unpredictability, it is no more punctuated and emphasized in a city like New Orleans.
We're certainly a battle-tested city, and although we've been through a lot of disasters in the last 2 years, I think that the city government is really well prepared for what we might face next.
Just in my tenure here, we've had at least 4.5 disasters. We've had floods, we've had cyber attacks, we've had a really bad Mardi Gras, and we've of course had a pandemic. And New Orleans has shown through all of it. I think at this point, nothing will surprise any of us. And so we're thinking every day about how we deliver resources, how we support our business community and our residents to make sure that they're getting all the services that they need in order to come out of the disaster much stronger than they were before.
Given everything we have endured over the last 2 years, it is no surprise that the discussion over mental health has reached a fever pitch here lately. Here with an innovative new way to tackle life's ups and downs is Johnny Crowder, CEO of CopeNotes. Thanks for joining us.
Heck yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, so first off, congratulations. You were named a Trailblazer this year here at ICMA. What does that mean to you?
I think it just means that I'm looking at a problem differently than other people are looking at it. When I think of a trailblazer, I think of someone who's not necessarily braver or more courageous or anything, just someone who's viewing the same problem from a different perspective and suggesting maybe an unconventional kind of solution.
And this is a problem that unfortunately has been around for a while. We're talking about mental health here. You came up with the idea for CopeNotes back in 2018. Where did that idea spark?
It was from trying to care for my own mental health. So I used to literally leave sticky notes for myself in my bathroom mirror and in like my sneakers that would have kind of perspective shifting statements or questions to make me challenge some of my prevailing negative thoughts. And I was dealing with pretty significant depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, OCD, and through even leaving treatment, I was still being accosted by some of these unwanted thoughts. So it was my way of making sure that I was consistently challenging those thoughts. And eventually that led to a digital version that's much more scalable than like writing sticky notes.
You just wrapped up your speaking session here. What is your hope that people took away from your speech?
I hope that they took away that it's not something that is this, a lot of people view mental health as this vacuous, shapeless, confusing, complicated monster, and they don't want to touch it. And I hope that people left feeling that they are an agent of change, because everyone at this conference is in some position of power or influence. They're an agent of change in their community. And I hope that they left feeling less afraid of touching it or approaching it or thinking about it. And I hope that they left thinking like, I'm going to call a meeting with whoever I work with to see how we can prioritize it now versus kicking the can down the road and hoping that you like term out and let it become someone else's problem.
Well, thank you for all that you're doing, and thank you for your time here this morning.
Heck yeah.
To Londonderry, New Hampshire now, where this community of 26,000 has that small town feel with big town living. 4 working apple farms sit alongside many Fortune 500 companies in this New England gem. Let's see how they make it work.
Londonderry was founded in 1719 by settlers who came here from Northern Ireland and Scotland, really seeking a better way of life.
We are one of the best kept secrets in the United States. We have everything from an airport close by, the ocean, the mountains, the great city of Boston, all at our fingertips.
And we're very close-knit. Even though we're a population of about 26,000, it still has a very small town feel. And so a lot of people want to raise their families here.
Londonderry has always been a people-friendly, open space-friendly community.
We view business and industry as being part and parcel to what makes our community great. So when a business is looking to locate here, we want to roll out the red carpet for them. We want to make the process as easy as possible for them to set up their business here.
Being generations in Londonderry and growing up here myself, I think Londonderry is headed in the right direction.
Where is the heartbeat of a town, if not in its downtown? Former Fortune magazine editor Leigh Gallagher just wrapped up a speech on this exact topic, and she joins us now in studio with more. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
So you just finished your keynote address on this topic. What do you hope people took away?
I hope that people take away that there really is this transformation going on in terms of how and where people want to live. And this predates the pandemic. But after years of sort of one-size-fits-all suburban development, people really want they want urban amenities in their towns. They want to be able to walk to get a great cup of coffee. They want to be able to hang out at a town square and see their friends. They want to be able to park and get out of their car and not be trapped in it. So, and there's all kinds of new developments and places and ways that people can live that way now.
So you label it Downtownification of America. How would you describe that?
I would describe it as, I sort of say the big idea here is that people don't necessarily want to live in Manhattan, but they want a little bit of Manhattan sprinkled near them. They want to be able to get really nice meals, a cup of coffee. They want to be able to walk and run into people. All that kind of urban life that Jane Jacobs, preached about. People really want that. And it was sort of stripped of our communities when we developed only, suburban, cul-de-sac, conventional suburban development.
If we think back to the smaller towns back in the 1950s and 60s, we had that Main Street USA where you could park your car, hop out, and you could kind of meet all your needs right there on one street. Do you feel like we're kind of seeing a resurgence of that?
I think we are. I mean, some of the earlier towns in this country were built around transit, and so they had a different layout. They are transit-oriented communities, and everything is sort of clustered together. But that was there for the transit, but people actually like that. So developers are recreating that and putting it in all over the place, even where there's no transit anywhere, and even very, very far from actual cities and sometimes.
So this is what people want. You're hearing that. Do you feel like local leaders are listening to that and trying to implement that?
I feel like they are, because they know that it drives satisfaction. And it's just giving people more options. And the other thing that's happening is demographics are changing. You've got a lot of empty nesters. You've got single family households. People are having fewer children. So diversifying the housing stock is also important as well.
Obviously, this takes a financial investment. Taxpayers, though, it sounds like, are happy about that. What are you hearing from community members where local leaders have already enacted this and they've kind of recreated that downtown feel?
The people I talk to who live in these communities, they are very happy. They love it. And people that maybe chose to stay in their big homes, they like having it nearby. Mm-hmm. So it does, it lets people stay there longer sometimes, especially if you're talking about empty nesters that might have decamped for the Sun Belt or something like that. And it just makes for a more thriving community, one that people of all ages are happy to be in, and that goes back to the olden days.
I know, the nostalgia. Yeah. All right, Leigh, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Now, let's see this downtownification in action. DeKalb County, Illinois is a prime example of how bolstering the downtown area can mean big bucks for their small businesses, and they are happy to take us on a tour.
One of the things I love about being in this community is that belonging is not a new concept.
So in DeKalb, we're focusing right now on creating an environment, actually co-creating an environment where everyone belongs.
When we say belonging, we're talking about co-creating a community where people feel valued, they're recognized, and that they see themselves.
When I look at DeKalb and what it has to offer from a diversity standpoint, I get to experience the world right here in rural America, from all races, all cultures, to people of different economic status, all coming together in one small community.
What makes me optimistic about DeKalb is that we have I think, faith in each other. We have a confidence, I think, that we can meet challenges and surmount them together. That has been the case as we have tried to come closer together as a belonging community, and it also will carry us into the future.
Well, as we wrap up this year's annual conference, that can only mean one thing: time to look ahead to next year. And joining us now from the Columbus Host Committee is Tom Homan and Charlotte Colley. Thank you both so much for being here with us today. All right, Columbus, here we come. How did you select that city?
Yeah, well, we went through a very rigorous selection process with ICMA when we decided in Boston in 2013 that it was the Midwest's opportunity for 2022. We quickly organized, got a group together. Charlotte and I became kind of co-chairs of the host committee, and we're thrilled to be hosting next year.
We're happy to be hosting, and this is an amazing opportunity for Columbus and Franklin County and for all of the Ohio folks to host. We're so excited.
And obviously this year there have been a lot of changes that you have had to enact because of COVID-19. Do you still foresee that being a concern this time next year?
So I think that we're obviously going to be very cognizant about cleanliness, spacing, all the normal things, the practices that we're putting in place now that, regardless of what's going on in the world in terms of health, I think are probably good practices to keep in mind. I don't know what the future is going to hold. Are we going to have health screenings like we do here? I don't know. But I think that no matter what happens, we're going to be ready to follow the guidelines that are coming forth from our local health districts and the CDC and anyone, just to make sure that our attendees are safe and comfortable.
And Portland established, I think, a very, very important threshold here.
Yes.
The fact that they didn't know they were going to hold the conference less than 6 months ago, they're holding it today. They figured out a way to make it work successfully. So I think they've got a good model that we can follow.
Okay, let's talk about the fun stuff. Any little sneak peeks or tidbits that you can give us for what attendees can expect next year?
Columbus is a really vibrant city. It's walkable, it's well connected. The convention center is within just a short walk from hotels, restaurants, entertainment. There's sporting events, all sorts of really amazing, fun things that our attendees, I think, will appreciate within walking distance.
Yeah, I mean, it's also Columbus, Ohio is within a day's drive of 2/3 of the country's population.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be convenient for people to get there.
Yes, and we're looking forward to a lot of our attendees at different conferences. You know, they have the opportunity to come in a little bit early, stay a little bit late. Columbus and Franklin County are centrally located within Ohio, so they're an hour to an hour and a half's drive from lots of different destinations in Ohio. So, you know, bring your families, stay a while, enjoy the outdoor opportunities in Southeast Ohio, the shopping and the cityscape in Cincinnati. Cleveland isn't far as well to the north. There's the Great Lakes. So I think that there's that opportunity to really make it a good trip for everyone.
All right, a lot to look forward to. Best of luck to both of you as you continue to plan for next year. Thank you both for your time today.
Hey everyone, Jeremy Thiggeton, ICMA Director of Conferences and Sponsorships. As we wrap up our 2021 ICMA Annual Conference here in Portland, I hope you've had a great time while also building lasting relationships and networking with colleagues who share your same interests and goals, and also enjoyed the puppies in the exhibit hall and some delicious voodoo donuts. We strive to provide an environment where idea sharing is encouraged and new strategies on how to best serve those in our communities are free-flowing. Thank you for sharing your time with us and making this conference such a huge success. We wish you all the best this year and can't wait to see you in Columbus in 2022.
Thanks, Jeremy, and thank you for joining us for this week's news and events from ICMA 2021 Annual Conference. We hope you've enjoyed hearing from your keynote speakers, your ICMA event leaders and sponsors, and have enjoyed the tour of towns across America. As always, you can revisit any of the content on your time by checking out the ICMA TV dedicated spot on the ICMA website, finding our videos and interviews on our YouTube channel, or following along with us on our Twitter feed. Our thanks to everyone who has made this year's event such a success, and we hope to see you in person next year in Columbus. I'm Andrea Godfrey. Thanks for joining us, and until next year.